Welcome to the Dullage. This is our podcast where we talk about ridiculous questions or whatever experience we want to talk about. I'm Shay.
And I'm Bobby.
And we, a few podcasts ago, were talking about story tropes. So we're going to talk about our most annoying story tropes, things that we absolutely hate
Thank goodness.
in stories, right? Is that what you prepared for?
Kind of.
Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay,
yeah.
go.
Okay, so I kind of, try to look them up, and then they would get off topic and be like, want me to tell you what a metaphor is? And I'm like, no!
No, I know what
I
a
need
metaphor
these topics
is.
are. Because I know there's, enemies to lovers, and there's, love triangle and stuff, but I'm like, what are the other ones? Because I'm not into English, so I'm like, I need you to literally give it to me, man.
Tell me what I hate.
Whatever. Yeah. So I did find a list finally.
Okay.
So I had 3 down that I'm kind of like, So the first one is the chosen one. Okay.
Prophecy Child, Chosen One?
No, we'll get into that one in a second.
Okay.
I don't know. There's 2
one.
kind of the same, but they're different.
Okay.
They're different. But the chosen one is, I'm always like, why can't we follow the friend? Like, why didn't we follow Ron Weasley instead of Harry Potter or something? Or like Hermione Granger.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I mean, I still like Harry Potter, so whatever. But like, sometimes, just like, I guess I had read a book. There was an Apollo book. Is it Apollo?
Like,
what's the one with the heel guy?
The heel guy?
You know, in the like...
Oh.
Achilles.
Okay, yeah.
Where it did come from the friend, which I thought was very interesting. So you didn't follow Apollo.
Achilles?
It was yes, okay. Achilles. You didn't follow Achilles. You followed the friend who was in love with... It was... can't recommend that book on this channel because it was weird. But it was from the site of the friend, friend, quote unquote, because they were actually like friends.
Right.
Anyways, and I just think that would be more interesting because like they're definitely unprepared for all that is going to happen in the book or whatever you're watching, and they're just like, I don't know. It just seems because we always follow the hero,
right?
Always,
but you're more interested in the second main lead than the main lead.
Yeah, because stuff's going to happen, and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, panic. But then you're like, you got to tell me that there's a friend being like, why am I friends with you? Why are we doing this? Why are we, something to like step back from it, that they're a real person and not in the thick of it, but they're being drugged into the thick of it.
I always feel like the side characters are way more interesting than the main character anyway.
They just, But that falls into my next one, is the reluctant hero, where I'm like, I kind of want to hear about a hero that is like, I'm prepared. I knew this was going to happen to me. And here I am. I'm doing it. And then whatever. But then at that same time, it would come back to I wouldn't want to hear about him because he'd be like, I already know how to start a fight. And I already whatever. Because I looked up an example. Like, I was like, give me an example of these. And they're like, well, Harry Potter. I'm like, Harry Potter wasn't...
Yeah.
He came in here, didn't even know about the wizarding world when he started.
Right.
So you couldn't tell me he was prepared.
No, he wasn't.
And then there was another... Oh, they said Luke Skywalker. I'm like, Luke Skywalker was in the desert.
He didn't... Yeah, he wasn't prepared.
Blue milk.
Right.
And then suddenly his whole family's dead. And he's like, P.S., your real father's out there. And he's the worst.
He's the worst.
Right? Like,
I mean, that is a reluctant hero, though. He is a reluctant hero because he's like, I didn't want my family to die. I don't want Darth Vader to be my dad. Spoilers.
Anyways,
the noise you make.
Yeah, I was like, flashback to other podcasts. Anyways, but I just, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always people who are like, whoop, didn't see that coming, and I guess I gotta save you.
Yeah.
I want to just see someone that's like, you were born and your parents knew this was it. Like, as if Dumbledore would have, instead of giving it to the Dursleys, would have been like, I know what you're going to be, and I'm going to talk to you about it, and we're going to get you up here, and we're going to be prepared.
Right.
Right? Instead of being like...
Well, then that would go into another trope of the runaway hero.
But, like, he's not running away.
Well, no, but, like, I mean, that's the whole thing, too, where you're like, you're a princess and you're born to be this and you're going to get married to this dude, and she's like, screw that, I'm off, and she runs away.
Right, like that, but then, like, I feel like that's different. Like, she's gonna have to marry someone she doesn't want to do or whatever. Not just, like, save and then you're, like, walk away. I guess that comes down to, they could be like, I don't want to die and bail out. But I don't know. Anyways, my third one was enemies to lovers. Because...
Me too.
Because I couldn't think of one, except for Pride and Prejudice, which I almost was like, should I bring that up? I don't know.
Because we'll go down that rabbit hole again.
Yeah. That I don't know of any that I like. Because while you're thinking about this, that I listened to a book and literally the guy bullied the girl. The whole, out of 11 hours. It was 5 hours of bullying.
Uh-huh.
And then she finally was like, oh, oof, I gotta save him.
Mm-hmm.
Because I need to do something else. I don't really want to save him, but this is like the key, whatever.
Right,
to
if
whatever.
he dies, it's from.
Right. And so she at one point sees that his family is like bullying him really bad. And she's like, oh.
Maybe that's where he gets
maybe
it
that's
from.
why he's bullying. And I'm like, no, you can see that and be like, that's unfortunate for you, but I'm not going to like you.
Yeah.
And then he gets in there, and after she captures him, he's like, so I actually like you because your family's actually nice to you, and I'm actually really jealous of you. And I'm like,
okay,
that's insufficient. And they end up, she like kisses him or whatever, which I'm like,
ew.
No.
He's been rude this whole time.
And you've been doing this for like years of bullying and being pushed down, and then you're just like, oh, you're jealous of me.
It's fine.
In the 3 minutes, like,
no, insufficient.
No. Yeah,
insufficient.
Anyways, so maybe I'm just bitter because of this book that I just listened to.
Maybe.
And I was
no,
like,
I don't
that's
like
garbage.
it either.
But I'm like, does anyone have a good example? You guys said a movie when we were talking to Ovade.
Yeah.
I don't know, Love Actually or something, or something. I don't know. I don't watch romantic comedies or romances because
I don't know. It's not like every romantic comedy feels like it's enemies to lovers.
Yeah, it
like
does.
They all do.
Yeah, they all have an issue, and then they have to like whatever.
Yeah, I don't like that trope. I don't like it because it's like I have a value system. This is the way I'm living my life, and I'm reaching for my goals, right? And and they each have this, and they're diametrically opposed from one another. And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, someone has to give up their entire value set. One or the other has to give up their entire value set, their entire outlook on life because of love.
Yeah.
And I hate that.
Yeah.
So like there was a movie that came out, I don't know, like 15 years ago, which is so beautiful. Like it just is a visual feast, and the plot is atrocious. And it's called Valerian, and I wrote it down because I wanted to make sure I got it right. Valerian in the City of a Thousand Planets.
Oh man.
And I wanted to like it so much because I've watched the source material. I watched the cartoon that it came from.
Oh, okay.
And it's like a French thing that has like a whole French manga that goes with it and stuff. And it's really a cool story, and this movie slaughtered it.
Oh,
so
no.
Anyway, but like at the end of it, it follows the two soldiers, and they're like soldiers for the Empire. They're like, we believe, right? They both really believe in this in different ways, but they hate each other.
Oh.
And so they're stuck together trying to do this thing when the guy falls in love with her, and he's constantly trying to
so
like,
a boy and a girl.
It's a boy and a girl. Okay. And he's constantly trying to get her to like, you like me, you like me, you like me. And she's like, you suck. Anyway, so they get to the end of this, and like there's an item that has to be preserved, and it's like like Empire, like you could make worlds and crush universes with it, it's all the kind of stuff. It's like this really powerful thing, right?
Yeah.
And it doesn't belong to them, but they're in possession of it. And the girl's like, give it back to the people it belongs to. And he's like, we can't do that, we're soldiers. And she's like, what? And he's like, no, hang on, we're gonna talk for a second. And so like I actually looked up their conversation, and his answer to her is like, I'm a soldier, I play by the rules, it's what makes me who I am. So he's like making this really big like statement of like, this is who I am, I follow the rules. And you're like, yeah, that's your whole character, sir. Right. Yes, like your core value. And she's like, see, that's why we can't ever get together, because the only thing that matters in the universe is love. And he's like, and she's like, Okay. And then he's like, I guess you're right. Here's the universe crushing thing. Give it back to the people who have every reason to hate us and crush it. Yeah, he just folds like that. And I'm like,
oh gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
there's like way more important things in the universe than love. Like, for example, the whole universe could now be crushed because of your choice. Right. Like, and don't do that.
Could both find somebody else.
I know, like 2 seconds. And like the whole thing. Anyway, I hate it so much.
Oh my gosh.
Like enemies to lovers, because someone has to give up their entire value system for the other person.
For what they're doing.
Yeah. And it inherently makes one person wrong forever. Yeah. Right? That's a terrible basis for a relationship.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you were wrong to begin with, and if you want to stay with me, you have to be wrong forever. You're wrong.
You have to change your whole self.
Yeah, like, no. That's awful.
I feel like that could only work if it took way longer. Because people can change over time and be like, okay, I actually see where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. But not to just flip like that.
Yeah, no
to just be like, whoop. But
or like if you met in the middle.
Right. And we're like, okay, I see you.
I was a little wrong here, you were a little wrong there.
Right.
We're both right about this, and that's the actual common goal of life, or whatever. Yeah. But no, the whole flip thing, no. No. Third act twist, no. Third act break your neck is what that is. I hate it so much. Enemies to lovers. Anyway, okay. You ready for mine?
Yes.
Forced proximity resulting in a relationship.
Beauty and the Beast, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's more like Stockholm syndrome, but like, oh, it's cold and we only have one blanket. Oh, it's like, dude,
what the frick?
I will freeze, thank you.
I guess I'll die.
I guess I'll die. Because it's a really, really bad basis for an effective relationship. Because, oh no, I have to go away for 2 days. Well, I guess I'll cuddle up to this person now and fall in love with them. Like, it just is like...
It's like the same as when people, like, save you. And you're like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're like,
I'm in love with you.
Yeah.
Because you rescued me.
Yeah.
I hate it. Anyways,
Are there any good tropes?
Yes, there's lots of good tropes.
And people, I'm sure there's good tropes within all of these that are done well.
Yeah.
But...
Hero self-sacrifice at the end, like they live a selfish life and they realize that the only way to like save the world is through their sacrifice, and all of a sudden they stop being a total jerk and and then they come back and they're like, oh look, I recognize the value of friendship, like, or something like that, you know. Like that's
a good one. Is it? Do you have an example of that?
One that I don't like.
Oh.
But that's only because I have preferences in the universe.
Yeah.
Iron Man did a pretty good job of that when he died for everybody.
That's fair, but I don't think he was all like, I mean, he was a wiener boy at the beginning of his whole thing, but I don't think he carried on being a wiener the whole thing.
I mean, he was kind of whiny.
I mean, yeah, but who isn't? Unless you're Captain America, and he still kind of was whiny.
That's true. I don't know. I haven't watched everything, so I can't, like, definitively, like, comment on this. But I don't necessarily like Marvel.
Oh.
So.
Well, that might come up later in life.
Yeah.
He was in, like, the first little bit, but I think, like, after the first movie, he kind of flipped. After the whole... Did you watch the first movie?
I've seen the first Iron Man, yeah.
Okay, so you know how he, like, it comes back and he's like, oop, probably shouldn't make war materials.
Yeah.
I feel like at that, it was from that point.
Okay.
It was already him switching. He still is very, like, I know what I am and I am what I am. And is very, like, I am number one.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me otherwise. So he is still that guy.
Yeah.
But he's not, like, you're a piece of trash.
Right. Well,
I don't know.
Yeah. I like it when people are actually heroic. And I think that's a good trope where they're like, no, like, there's a greater good and I can serve it.
Yeah.
So I like that trope.
Okay.
Anyway, okay, I have another one though.
Okay.
I have another one.
Okay.
I had 3 also. Isn't that funny?
Wow.
Yeah. Let's see. I have to look it up.
Okay.
Yes.
You wrote no on there.
I just wrote no.
No. Not that one.
No, I have to look at my paper. Sorry. Okay. Here's one that drives me nuts because I feel like anybody who writes this has never actually seen a horse.
A horse?
It's doubling up on a horse.
It's doable, but not great.
It's awful. It's awful for the writers. It's awful for the horse. Like, horses are wonderful.
Yeah.
They're a glorious animal, okay? And, like, the synergy between humans and horses for thousands of years has been amazing. But they are skinny in the middle. And then they have a super fat butt and a really narrow neck, okay? There's no such thing as, like, a stretch horse, like stretch limo. There is room for one on your horse, okay? So there's different positions you can attempt this, right? Grab the smaller person, throw them over the saddle, stomach first, right?
Right.
This is a really good way to pop your internal organs. Whether you're on a saddle horn or a pommel, that's a really good way to, like, wreck your guts.
Oh, yeah.
Super fast. Okay. Like, 2 bounces on a horse.
Who puts them over the pommel?
Well, like,
who?
War movies. Like, grab the girl, throw them over the... Or if they're like, no, I'm going to throw up over my lap, like, if they actually manage to get them, like, in close to their hips or whatever, you're still going to be cracking ribs on the stupid saddle horn. Like, and it's going to be super off balance because human bodies are, like...
the bum?
Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. I've thought about this a lot. Okay, so first of all, never put them over the front. And if you do put them over the front, make sure that they're sitting in your lap. Okay, now there's another problem right there. If they're sitting on your lap, whether it's 2 legs on one side of the horse or 1 leg on each side of the horse or whatever, if you have a human being that's the same size as you sitting on your lap, you now cannot see. Like, have you ever sat in an adult...
It's like a motorcycle. No. You just tilt a little.
Yeah, you have to tilt, and now you're
slightly
off kilter for the horse. Yeah,
just not a ton.
It's
have
enough.
Have you ridden 2 people on a motorcycle before?
No, but they have 2 seats.
No, not always. Sometimes it's just a longer thing, like a little bit.
That's more room than a horse has got.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Anyway, so it's terrible to put them in front. Plus, if they're riding in your lap, your legs are gonna go numb. Like, 5 minutes in, have you ever held an adult in your lap? I hold my teenager every now and then, and it's, like, enough to make my legs numb. Like, it's dumb. Don't do that. It's bad for you. It's bad for the horse. It's terrible. So not in front, okay? Just bad. All right, so let's put them on back, okay? Saddles are larger than the space that you sit in so that they evenly distribute weight. But the gap between your butt and the back of the saddle is not big enough for another human to fit into. At least not comfortably. Okay? So they have to ride behind the saddle. So now you've got a saddle that's riding up into your hips.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Or into your stomach if it's a tall back saddle kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not great. Hard to hold on to the person in front of you. Okay? So like maybe you're roughly holding on to their jacket. Terrible idea. Plus, that's where the horse's kidneys are. So you're just bouncing up and down on top of the poor horse's kidneys. Really? Yes, that's where their kidneys are. So it's really bad for the horse for you to sit on their bum. Like it's like bruising their kidneys. It's terrible for the horse. Yeah, so like you can do it for like a minute because that's fine. Kind of the same way you could have someone lay on your back for a minute and you wouldn't die, but the horse is not comfortable like that. Okay. Plus, again, it widens out because that's where the frick their hip is. And so like if you are trying to straddle the bum of a horse, your hips, your legs are gonna be so wide, your feet are gonna be sticking out.
That's when you sit like this. Like you just like
I know, but can you imagine doing that? Like, okay, rescued princess, we have one horse, we're going to travel for 12 hours over this mountain range. Oh, no. Can you imagine trying to ride a horse like that?
You should be walking.
Amen.
Not to be that guy, but you gotta let the horse live a little bit. Right. You can individually ride.
Sure, like each take turns, yeah. But then, like, if you're being chased by the goblin horde, like, you can't do that.
Then you just do what you do, man. No. You both get on and you sit on the little edge of the thing and you go quick.
I know, but then
it's better than dying.
I guess.
But anyways, if you wanted to know, the typical ranges of a horse saddle are 14 to 18 inches.
Okay.
And then motorcycles are 24 to 30 inches.
So they're significantly further.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I just had to.
Okay.
I'm like, horses are pretty big. I don't know, man.
It just doesn't work. Anyway, and then like people riding horses through the night, horses are alive. They need breaks. Like you can't just ride a horse through the night, especially if you're doubled up on a saddle. I swear, people who write this into books have never seen a horse. They've never ridden a horse for sure. And like they're trying to exchange realism for romance. Yeah. That is not romantic. It is not romantic at all to be trapped uncomfortably on a horse. Get off the horse. Go find a bush. Like don't. The worst place for romance is on the back of a horse.
Oh my gosh. How many books have you listened to?
Too many.
Okay.
Too many. Realistic horses. Okay, anyway, so there's your trope. I'm done. That's my rant.
That's the trope.
That's the whole thing. Doubling up on a horse.
Oh my god.
So unrealistic. Just uncomfortable and bad. No. 0 stars. No more doubling up on horses.
Take your turns. If you want to hang out together, both of you walk.
Amen. Okay, there you go.
Okay. I've gotten it out.
I got it out.
Okay.
I want to know what other people hate about tropes for books. Or if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong about horses. I would love to have this argument with somebody.
Oh my gosh. Anyway,
there you go. That's what we got.
Let us know about your tropes. They can be positive too if you're like, no, wait, I have a good one.
That's true.
Let us know.
I would love that.
Those too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
You and the horse. Oh, okay.